Welcome back, members. In this video we're going to be talking about the upcoming bubble in artificial intelligence. I'll be giving you guys my rationale on why I think it's going to be happening from a Jyotish perspective. I'll also give you guys strategies and timing on how to make the best of this. But the reason I'm making this video, as you guys know, is I think the crypto bubble is going to be bursting in around about 6 months from now. And I want to plant the seed of an idea in your head right now as to what to do on the other side of that. So making a series of videos on what I think are the upcoming bubbles over the next few years. I hope you guys have already seen the real estate video bubble, or the video on the real estate bubble, I mean to say. This is the one on AI, and we'll be making a couple more over the next few weeks. Now, I do want to also give you guys my own history on artificial intelligence because it's not very good. About 20 years ago, when I was a student studying software engineering, one of the subjects in our final year was actually on machine learning, which is just another way of saying artificial intelligence. And I scraped through that subject just by the skin of my teeth. I think I got like 51% or something, just the bare minimum to get through. So I've got trauma with this particular industry, and it's not going to cloud my judgment on the Jyotish of what's going to be happening in the future, but I think it's just a fun story to point out right now. My knowledge on AI is about 20 years outdated, because that's how long ago I was at college, and even then I just knew the tip of the iceberg then. Having said that, the industry has come so far right now that really in about the next 2 or 3 years, it's going to be scary what these machines are capable of doing. But first, before we talk about any of that, let's talk about the Jyotish analysis on why I think this is going to be happening. And it's basically going to be one planet that's going to trigger all of this, and that is Rahu moving from Taurus into Aries. When Rahu moved into Taurus, and I think it was about September of last year, that kicked off the crypto boom. And basically you've seen Bitcoin and Ethereum and all these other altcoins start to skyrocket at that point. And that's mostly because Rahu was forming a really good aspect with Saturn in Capricorn. Remember, Capricorn is banks, Taurus is the financial sector, and Rahu blows things up. It creates expansion wherever it goes. So it's bringing down the banks and expanding the alternate currencies, the cryptocurrencies. But what happens is when Rahu goes up into Aries, that's going to form a harder aspect with Capricorn. That's called a square for those of you who are into astrology. And Aries is a sign that rules the head and rules things like thought and how people think about things. So think of Rahu as like a machine. It creates like illusions and Maya. And so creating illusions with people's heads, that's the tech equivalent of artificial intelligence. That's why I think that one particular sector is going to be booming when this transit happens. So if we were to talk about timing, the transit itself actually takes place at the very end of April of 2022. And keeping in mind that I think the end of the crypto bubble is in September of this year. That might still be in May or June, so I'm not 100% sure on that. But looking at the charts right now, I think most likely it's going to be pushed back into September, which gives you about 6 to 7 months to accumulate AI stocks. And this bubble is going to go on for around about 18 months. So we look to be buying before April of 2022 and look to sell before September, October of 2023. So that's the Jyotish rationale there. Let's talk specifics about how to take advantage of this. And I want to give you guys 2 strategies over here. Accumulate stable AI companies, and then get your hands on some speculative AI companies. And the stable ones I'd be looking at are Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, and maybe Facebook. I'm not 100% on that last one, but definitely these first 5. And these are just the bread and butter companies nowadays. They're not going to be going bankrupt anytime soon, so the chance of risk on these is very, very low. Think of these as like the NASDAQ equivalent of what Bitcoin and Ethereum are. But then you want to also be accumulating some speculative AI companies too. These are the ones that will go up like 10-fold or potentially 100-fold during the 18-month period that bubble goes through. Now, I don't actually have a list of which of those companies I'll be looking at just yet, but I'll spend maybe the last 6 months of this year doing some research and getting a list together so that I can give that to you before April of next year. And that, guys, is this very quick video on AI and the coming boom that I think it's going to be going through. It'll look very similar to the Bitcoin boom that's going on right now. Remember, Rahu in Taurus is expanding the financial sector and financial assets. That's why Bitcoin is soaring so much. AI stocks are going to do a similar thing next year. So we got to prepare ourselves for that. In the meantime though, I'm going to be making some more videos on the mining and commodities, the gold and silver. I'll also be talking about India, agriculture, and I'll be doing another video, I think maybe if we get time later on the next crypto bubble that I think is maybe 4 or 5 years down the line. So it's maybe too early to do that video just now, but maybe at some point down the track we'll have a look at that. Alright guys, if you have any questions, as always, put them in the comment section below. Thanks a lot.